Your computer usually doesn't freeze because it died. It freezes because one part gets stuck, and the rest of the computer is forced to wait. So when the mouse stops moving, the app says not responding, and the loading circle just spins forever. What you're really seeing is a traffic jam inside your computer. And the strange part is, it can happen even when it looks like nothing is open. Have you ever been using your computer normally, then suddenly everything just stops? The mouse won't move, the window turns pale, the app says not responding, and the loading circle just keeps spinning like your computer is thinking really hard about absolutely nothing. But most of the time, your computer has not actually died. It is still trying to work. The problem is that one part of the system has become stuck, overloaded, or forced to wait. And because computers rely on different parts working together, one blocked part can make the whole machine feel frozen. The simplest way to understand it is this. A frozen computer is like a traffic jam. The cars are not gone, the road is not destroyed. But one lane is blocked and now everything behind it is stuck. That is what happens inside your computer. Your screen, mouse, apps, browser, files, and background processes are all trying to move information around. But if one important part gets blocked, everything else starts waiting. And to you, it looks like the computer froze. One of the biggest reasons this happens is memory, or RAM. RAM is like the table your computer works on. When you open a browser, a document, a game, a video, or even a bunch of tabs, your computer puts active information on that table so it can reach it quickly. But if the table gets too full, the computer has a problem. It cannot just throw everything away because those apps are still open. So it starts moving some of that information somewhere slower, usually onto your storage drive. That is when everything can suddenly feel stuck. The computer is still working, but now instead of grabbing things from a clean table, it is digging through boxes on the floor. That delay can make your mouse lag, your browser freeze, or an app stop responding. So when people say, "I only had a few tabs open," the truth is sometimes one modern website can act like a whole app by itself. A single browser tab can have video, ads, scripts, tracking, images, chat boxes, animations, and background tasks running inside it. So your computer might look calm on the outside, but inside, the table is full. Another reason computers freeze is the processor, or CPU. The CPU is the part doing the thinking. It is constantly answering requests from your apps. Move this window, load this page, save this file, play this video, check this update, scan this folder. Most of the time, it switches between jobs so quickly that everything feels instant. But sometimes one app grabs too much attention. Maybe a program glitches. Maybe a website gets stuck. Maybe an update starts working in the background. Maybe an app keeps asking the same question over and over. And suddenly, the CPU is like one worker surrounded by everyone yelling at once. The computer does not always know which job matters most, so everything starts slowing down. This is why one frozen app can make the whole computer feel broken. It is not always because the whole computer is failing. Sometimes one program is holding the line hostage. That is why not responding appears. It basically means this app was asked to answer, but it has not replied fast enough. The system is waiting for a response. The app is stuck doing something else, and the screen shows you the delay. The third big reason is storage. This one is easy to miss because people think storage only matters when saving files. But your computer is constantly reading and writing information in the background. It loads apps from storage. It saves temporary files. It opens system files. It checks updates. It moves data when RAM gets full. So if your storage drive is slow, nearly full, or being used heavily, your computer can freeze even if the CPU is not doing much. This is especially frustrating because the screen may look like nothing is happening. But behind the scenes, the computer might be waiting for the storage drive to finish one tiny job before it can move on to the next one. It is like trying to work at a desk. But every time you need a piece of paper, the filing cabinet takes 30 seconds to open. After a while, the whole room feels stuck. Then there is heat. A laptop does not just run as fast as possible forever. If it gets too hot, it protects itself by slowing down. That means the computer may intentionally reduce its speed so it does not damage the hardware. This is why a laptop can feel fine at first, then slowly become worse the longer you use it. Maybe the fan gets louder. Maybe the bottom gets hot. Maybe the app you are using starts lagging. Then eventually everything feels frozen. The computer is not being lazy. It is trying not to cook itself. And because laptops are small, heat matters even more. The CPU, memory, storage, battery, and cooling system are all packed into a tight space. If air cannot move properly, the whole system can slow down. The final reason is that sometimes software simply gets stuck. Computers are constantly running little instructions in order. Do this, then do that, then wait for this, then load that. But if one instruction never finishes, the program can get trapped. It might be waiting for a file, waiting for internet, waiting for permission, waiting for another process, or waiting for something that already failed. To you, it looks frozen. But inside, the program may be stuck waiting for an answer that never comes. That is why freezing feels so strange. The computer is not always broken. It is not always overloaded. Sometimes it is just waiting in the wrong place. So the simplest explanation is this. Your computer freezes when one part of the system gets blocked, and everything else is forced to wait. Sometimes that blocked part is RAM. Sometimes it is the CPU. Sometimes it is storage. Sometimes it is heat. Sometimes it is one broken app. But the feeling is the same. You click. Nothing happens. You move the mouse. Nothing moves. The screen stays still. And because the screen is the only part you can see, it feels like the whole computer has stopped existing. But behind that frozen window, the system is usually still trying to untangle the traffic jam. That is why a freeze can last a few seconds, a few minutes, or until the computer gives up and needs a restart. A frozen computer is not really mysterious. It is just a machine with too many things waiting on one blocked part. And once you understand that, the not responding message makes a lot more sense. It is not saying your computer is dead. It is saying, one part of this system stopped answering, and now everything is waiting.